are also being affected by this vibrational change. And their vibrational home stadium is the old epoch, the old energetic construct. And they built this control system on the old energetic construct. And part of that has been the fact that humanity, connected consciously to that energetic construct, has been in a state of suppression. Instead of expanded awareness, it's been like, oh, I'm just Joe Public, or I'm Charlie Smith and Ethel Jones, and I've got no power. So that makes the control system real easy. As we expand beyond the box they're in, because we can, then that becomes more and more difficult. But that's only one level of it. The real thing that's bringing an end to the control system is the very vibrational basis on which it's been built. This density is breaking up. And as it breaks up, the house of cards must come down, because the holographic play-out control system is just a holographic representation of the vibrational blueprint on which it is based. When that goes, this has to go. And so it's all happening at one time. And for me, it's absolutely no accident that it's at this very time when these truth vibrations, I call them, are starting to massively impact on human awareness. My goodness me, I mean, I remember 20 years ago, I mean, my goodness me, things have changed, Jordan, haven't they, in terms of the number of people who are going, whoa, hold on a second, the life's not like I thought it was. I'm not like I thought it was. So these truth vibrations are impacting on very, very powerfully already. And the whole thing is going to move on. And so it's no accident, like I say, that it's at this time when this is happening that they're throwing everything at us in terms of the control system. They've got HARP, which is in many ways there to create a sub-reality, because it's sending out radio waves on the same frequencies as brain waves to try to affect the way we think and suppress our thoughts. They're filling people with chemical cocktails in food and drink to destabilize the body's ability to tune into these changing vibrations. They're creating a sub-reality through microwaves and electromagnetic pollution. Even mainstream media is talking about this soup we live in now, particularly in the cities. They want to bring the microchips in to externally suppress the vibrational state and the electrical state of the body, so we're not tuning into this new awareness that's there to be tuned into. And all these things are happening. And again, when you are in a state of fear and chaos and what's happening, and oh my God, you are in a low vibrational state. That's what fear is. That's why we say, oh, I feel so tight today, I feel so heavy today. Heavy, it's a low vibrational state. So another thing that they're doing at this time is trying to create as much chaos in the world, so that chaos through, not least through the global economy, etc., and wars and what have you, terrorism, because they want to make that affect our vibrational state. And there's so many other things, of course, we could all list. And it's no accident that they're throwing that at us now, just as this epoch-changing vibrational change is happening, because they're desperately trying to defend. I would say this, and I've been saying it for a while, what is happening now is not about these people gaining more power, because they've had all the power they wanted up to this point, because while humanity was not aware that they were being manipulated, they weren't aware that their resources were being stolen, they weren't aware that their energy was being vampired. These guys could go on controlling us forever in that stage. Then what is happening now is not about them gaining more power. It is their desperate last death throw attempt of the control system to hold on to the power it already had. And the reason that it's now manifesting is because they can see down what we call the timeline from their level of observation, just outside of our visible light reality, and therefore they could see this time coming. They've been preparing for this for ages.
Well, sure.
To throw it in now. And that says many things. It says an incredible thing about what's happening, and that is the power of this transformation, the power of this awakening is so profound that they have to throw all this stuff at us to try to head it off. And they will head some people off. They will keep some people in the box. But the tide is turning. Most crucially, the tide is vibrationally changing. And they're going to throw it. And for the next few years, it ain't going to look for a second as if, from the perspective of the vast majority of people on this planet, that anything's happening other than the control system is getting its way. That the control system, the Orwellian control system, the fascist global state is actually going to get what it wants. And people are going to say, "Oh my God, we're doomed," and then the tipping point's going to come vibrationally. And this is going to come down so fast eventually. And I'm 58, and it's going to happen well before I leave here. Because I want a bit of the other side of the epoch, thank you very much. I've had all this side, I want a bit of that side before I leave here.
What you've been saying has reminded me, in the Jewish tradition of mysticism, there's the idea of a golem. And this was a monster which can be created out of your thinking, that actually becomes a living monster.
Right.
But it requires the collectively thinking about this monster, and it comes into being. Once it comes into being, it has its own agenda.
It has its own awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it requires everyone believing that it's here first, and then it can be brought into being. It's called the golem. And it's, as I said, it's a very old, ancient Jewish idea that you can create a monster if you believe it, and that's basically what you're saying.
What you need to acknowledge, Jordan, is that the work that you've been doing that started 48 years ago actually is one of the things that the controllers are reacting against, because you were one of the first people to stand up and start frightening them with the release of information that was never meant to be made public.
Yeah, well, I know. I look at what has transpired in my life in the past 48 years, and I'm amazed watching the transitions that I have gone through and the world has gone through too.
Because you must have seen a lot in those 48 years.
Yeah.
You must have seen,
I remember back in 62, 63, 64, when before John Kennedy was assassinated. The day he was assassinated, I was on my way downtown in Los Angeles to East LA to give a lecture on secret societies and world religions. And when I got in the car to go, I heard on the news that John Kennedy had been assassinated. I've been talking about the influence of the dark side manipulating us as far back as 63, 62. And but I feel that there's some kind of a otherworld intelligence that is manipulating us, and probably it has been here before we humans were here, and it represents a very, very powerful presence, evil presence. I'm sure, as you have said, you're right that there is and Bill, you have said the same thing about there is a spiritual balance in the universe, and that there's a good side also. But I feel unless and until this other world power is exposed, we as humans are not going to be able to extricate ourselves from this tragedy. The world has got to understand that we're not being ruled by humans. We are being ruled by an other world, off planet, for lack of a better term, alien life forms.